Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king.
Oh, he has it. He finally has it.
Espinal. And also joining me is my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the legend. It is Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
It's called partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What up, Chris?
Yeah.
What's good, Brian?
Yeah. Also joining us is the Edgelord himself, Big News Brian.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, you know, I got some light on my skin now from this little lamp here.
Yay.
You know, things are looking fine.
Looking all profesh. Look at you. All profesh. Thank you guys for joining us. We have a fucking sick show. I'm so fucking excited. Hell yeah. I'm on the vibe today, guys. I'm on the vibe. Is that what the kids say today, Brian? I'm on the vibe?
No.
It's a vibe.
Well, not like that. I don't think that's how you use vibe. I don't use that lingo, but I can be somewhat of a translator, I guess.
You're the youngest person on the show. You're our only.
You're still doing it wrong.
Damn it! We're so old. I swear to God,
You're not even that old.
This pandemic.
You're not even that old.
This pandemic has aged me 30 years. I'm not even the same person anymore. But yeah, I mean, we got some stuff to talk about today, so let's get right into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JD Cole _37, and that's on Instagram as well.
Oh yeah, Brian.
You can find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Oh yeah. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on Twitter especially because we do a weekly, really good chapter of the week audience poll. So you guys can decide what you thought was the best chapter of the week, and we will reveal the winner on the show. Today, we have a tie, which for the first time in New Jump history, this is the first time that we've had a tie. I actively do not know what to do about this tie. It is tearing me apart. But I guess we'll give them both a win. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Impromptu. But yeah, follow us on there. Vote for your favorite series. Follow us on Instagram as well. You can email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want to talk to us about, or leave a comment on the video you're watching. Speaking of the video you're watching, if you are watching on YouTube, we have a backlog of over 100 episodes, some of which are not on YouTube. Actually, most of which are not on YouTube because we didn't have video back then, or we suffered a copyright strike last year, so we lost all of our stuff. So, go back and listen to the archives. We have a lot of shit. And leave us a 5-star review on iTunes while you're there. Follow us on Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are likely there. If you're listening on the audio version only, we do have a YouTube channel where you could click on the link in your description and it'll take you here. I think that works for Apple Podcast users and Spotify users. So if you're listening on any of those platforms, you could click the link and it'll send you here. And subscribe to us. Give us that all that stuff. And yeah, I think that's it as far as plugs go. Let's get the show started. We're going to start off with a new segment on the show where we talk about shit that we don't really cover in depth on the show, but we still want to talk about and shout out. Welcome to One Shots. And I guess today we're going to start a little bit with we have a solo leveling discussion. Brian shared with us some info about the series known as Solo Leveling, the manhwa series. And Josh and I took a little bit of a peek at it over the last week. Josh got a little farther than I did. I'm only on chapter 6. So I guess I'm going to let him take it away and what his thoughts are.
So, yeah, I made an agreement with Chris before we started that I wouldn't go so in depth as to spoil anything. I am going to break down. I don't know. I'm still going to talk freely, but I'm not going to go about it based on, this is what's going on in the story. So I'm going to put it like this. I really, really enjoy reading this. When Brian said that it was like a video game. He was not lying at all, man. I mean, the comic itself literally refers to it as a sort of game. You know, it's there's a lot of mystery involved with this, so it's it's cool.
Yeah, you know what I noticed about it
down the road
is whenever the girl heals. I'm still new to the series. I don't know names, but whenever she heals, you see like the little cross.
The
HP things,
yeah, the HP things going up.
Yeah, for the health up. Yeah, man, it's nice.
Yeah,
there's
there's like debuffs and stuff too.
There's what?
Yeah,
there's like
man.
there's debuffs and buffs.
Debuffs. Man, they even there's like just like Brian was. I mean, I'm regurgitating what he said, but it's so true. I mean, and you find out sooner than later. Like there's the stat points that he gets, there's categories, and the more he fights, the stronger he gets. It's as simple as that. But it's really motivating. The vibes it gives me is like Hajime no Ippo, the boxing manga, right? They don't have the degree of like physical training and endurance, and like they don't dedicate whole arcs to like training or nothing like that. But like I said, man, it's motivating me, man. It motivates you. But it motivated me, man. Shit, made me want to play RPG and do a few fucking push-ups and shit.
Dang.
So it's,
yeah, for real. I was damn, this dude has to do this shit every day. Is it actually worth it?
I think the main character is really interesting too. I think he's not like he's pretty typical of a shonen protagonist that's kind of meek at first, very like super humble, and then starts to get sure of himself little by little. It happens really fast with him. You're gonna see Chris. Trust me, it ain't much of a spoiler. It's not a development point or after a time skip he comes back.
No, this dude's a fucking beast
now. Wow, look at my old stomping grounds. No, he gets busy, bro. The art's really cool. It has the added benefit of being color, which is cool because we get the color in American comics, but you don't get that shonen that manga art. You know what I'm saying? That feel to it, like that. That pacing. I guess more so, really, like the pacing that manga has.
Yeah.
That's what you get in a manhwa.
Yeah, most manhwa are actually like fully colored in comparison to manga.
I don't know.
Like that's why they're.
I don't remember Tyro God being fully colored. Was it?
Well, most of them are. At least modern day manhwa have been like that. Every manhwa I've read recently has been colored, and I think that's partially why it's manhwa are kind of released as episodes and seasons, is because I guess during the downtime between seasons, that's when they're working on refining the art and the story. Yeah. So,
which is similar to like American comics, right? They do it, they take time out and they don't do it week by week, right?
Well, they have all their shit in advance already. Like a lot of comics that are released have been worked on for a while, and they just like throw them up. But yeah, I mean, I'd
imagine this is way more healthier for the artist.
Sure.
I feel like manga should kind of take notes from this a little bit.
Well, it's also I think the structure of manhwa itself too. Like, it's not like a whole page really. It's like It's like big panels for the most part. So yeah, it might be healthier. It looks like it's digitally done too. I don't think it's done. I think
those are digital art for sure, 100%.
In my perception of it, as far as the art style goes and the structuring of the manhwa, it is literally like one long panel. You know what I'm saying? More so than just like I don't know. I guess that sounds obvious, but it feels like it's just where there's one in motion scene that flows. Like it just flows, and that's why I found myself like reading them really fast, and I guess that helps that it's not super text heavy, at least not yet. Like it's not like there's no writing in it at all, but there's definitely huge chunks of the action scenes where it is just straight fighting, and that'll take up at least 60 to 80, to 75%. of a whole chapter.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine reading this week by week. This is definitely a series you want to binge.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I already know. And I'm gonna savor it while while I'm able to binge it, man. It's just fun. Everything that Brian said, everything that my homie at my job said, everything that I've heard about it, and other people, you know what I'm saying, that I've seen mentioned, it's good. It's dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
What more? I guess that's all I can say. That's as far as I can articulate it without getting into the story.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a short experience with it so far, so I don't have as deep a knowledge of the lore or whatever, but what I've seen is pretty enjoyable. I'm still at the part where they're like facing off against that statue guy.
Yeah.
So like when they're in the double dungeon, I'm still dealing with that guy.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Against the stone people.
Yeah.
All right, so we can talk about that stuff. Let's talk about the first 5 chapters. All right.
First, do you remember exactly where the first 5 chapters end?
All right, listen.
Because I can just tell you where I up to where I read up to, so we don't step over.
Did they bow down in front of the statue yet?
Yeah, it's literally I stopped right when they stepped on that guy for praying to the wrong god. Because
oh yeah.
And that's where that's where I was like left off. I gotta continue it later, but yeah, it's interesting. He reminds me a lot of Deku at this point, where he's not the strongest, so he's like thinking his way around things, where everybody's just like using my powers type of situation. But
yeah, he has to use his noggin a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate that about this series.
But don't worry, that's gonna change very soon.
Yeah, Brian told me he basically becomes Saitama, but even more.
Yeah.
Even more than Saitama.
That what you see what's going on in the double dungeon, that's really out of desperation because like there's not much else he can do anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Maybe and there's some I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, it's really more so a theory of mine, or maybe they do mention it. I think they say something about it, but one of the stats is kind of like awareness, or like this ascent, where you can kind of feel out how strong someone's going to be. You know how it is, like a power scout or whatever. You know, not much like a kind of like a power scouter and like a spider sense built in. But I think it's kind of implied that out of all the stats he has, that's the only one he had kind of like, I guess, honed. If at all, because of how weak he is and how observant he's had to be, but it's definitely not like a predominant ability or anything like that. If anything, like I said, it is one of the stats that he can increase. So it's keep that. I don't know, just keep that in mind.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm sure.
He's pretty raw, though.
I get the gist because it's very set up like a video game. It feels reminiscent of World Trigger to a degree, where there's ranks.
Is. And, it's like a diet World Trigger.
Yeah.
Like a
it's like World Trigger. It's like World Trigger, but Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. Yes. There we go. World Trigger X Dragon Ball. Niggas. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are where my thoughts on Solo Leveling concludes. You guys have any more closing statements?
Nah, man. I want us to kind of. I want us to talk about this more. We'll figure out in what capacity and how we'll go about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think maybe we should try to set a goal in mind and then talk about it at like certain points.
Yeah,
it comes out. New chapters come out every Tuesday, so
every couple of weeks we can like.
Yeah, well, I'm far away from that.
Yeah, I'm behind. I'm way behind.
Dude, I'm itching for every chapter. I'm addicted to it.
Nice. So, what do you guys think about Solo Leveling? Leave us in the comments. Tell us what you think about Solo Leveling, on what our thoughts on manhwa in general. And I guess we're gonna move on to our next one-shot topic. I watched Justice League.
Get it? Do another drop, bro.
Oh, another.
Do another drop,
All right, bro. Next one-shot topic. It's Justice League. I watched the Snyder Cut finally. Over several days. I'm not gonna spoil it. I mean, just in case something slips out, spoiler alert. But I don't think I'm going to spoil it. I mean, honestly, if you watch the first movie, it is the first movie again. It's just 4 hours now.
Dude, I don't know how the fuck you sat. I don't know how you sat through all that shit.
I
tried watching it.
It's not bad. It's cinematically gorgeous. I mean,
yeah, I know it looks decent, right? But I tried to watch it, and I was just bored. I didn't watch the first version of it, but
I mean,
I don't know. I just couldn't get myself to sit through the whole thing.
I mean, I didn't
even
sit
in
through
breaking it up.
I'll tell you what, I didn't sit through.
Yeah, like I watched the first couple of minutes or first 30 minutes, and then I just clocked out.
I mean, it's a 4-hour movie. Whoever sat through it in one sitting, God bless you. I really,
God bless you,
because I couldn't do it. This movie is very long, and you feel it because like 75% of this movie is in slow motion. So you actively know that it's like if he didn't just leave it at 0.75 speed in the editing bay, it'd probably be like a 3-hour movie. It'd be an hour shut down, but. I don't remember enough about the original Joss Whedon cut to really make a comparison. I guess I'm judging it on its own merits. I liked it for the most part. I think like I enjoyed it. I didn't hate watching it. But Brian's not wrong in saying that sometimes it's like, fuck, this didn't need to. You could have cut this out. It's not that crazy. Like there's a scene where you get to see Cyborg like playing football. And he's playing football in full slow motion. And the whole scene is in slow motion. So I
didn't even get to that part.
So he's basically pulling off this QB run.
Oh my god.
Where, by the way, as a human being, he's blitzing through like 7 linebackers to make a quarterback run all the way to the end zone. And I'm like, all right, relax.
Pre-cyborg?
Pre-cyborg. As a boy, he's just blasting through these other 150-pound muscle kids, and he makes a touchdown. That whole thing's in slow motion. So, I mean, that's one of the
when you call them 150-pound kids, it makes it sound less impressive.
I don't know weights. I don't know. 200 is that a thing?
Let's say 250.
All right, 250 pound. They're fucking football kids.
Though?
That's what I said. They're like high school students.
Some big dudes, some big football players. We get it.
He's in high school at this point.
We get it.
I don't know. Big kids, and he just blasts through all of them, in slow motion. So that could have been done in regular motion, I think. But yeah, it's not bad. I feel like this guy Steppenwolf is a better character this time around. I don't know. This is just like off the top of my head. I feel like he's a better villain in this one than he was.
Because he's an actual villain with
he has a personality,
and motivations, and shame.
Yeah, he feels like he has a personality now. I saw a really funny meme where they put Steppenwolf's face over Will Smith's body, saying, "Why doesn't he want me, man?" about Darkseid, which is basically his storyline. Is that he's desperately trying to collect the mother boxes to get Darkseid over.
And I don't know why he cares so much about what Darkseid wants, because in the first 30 minutes they show a scene of Darkseid getting his ass whooped. Absolutely whooped. All right? That dude was getting absolutely fucking clapped.
Well, because he got betrayed.
Did he?
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, but he still got his ass beat.
He kills a Green Lantern, which
he
I'm
was getting jumped.
He was getting jumped. He got jumped by the Atlanteans.
I'm sure he could have handled that.
He got jumped by the Atlanteans, the Themyscirans, the Greek gods,
and the slow motion lightning.
But he had a whole army with him, though.
Yeah, he
wasn't jumped.
Yeah, but the whole time he was getting jumped in slow motion, so he got hit pretty bad.
That's Zack Snyder's superpower.
What another positive about this movie is it kind of reminded me how much I actually like this cast. I do like the Justice League, except for maybe the Flash. For whatever reason, he's never really stuck with me. He's too awkward. It's a little annoying. I'm a little over it. They try too hard to make him just the funny, awkward kid, and I'm like, I don't vibe with it, and it's neither of the Flashes. None of the Flashes are like that. So it feels weird.
Not even Wally.
Yeah. If anything, the Flashes would be cocky and, kind of confident. And that's where their funniness comes from.
Yeah, that is true. I can't think of a single, actually awkward Flash.
Yeah, so I don't know. It feels off.
Maybe that's why they did
Impulse?
it. Maybe that's why.
No, he's not.
But I'm not even gonna. I mean, obviously, no one's thinking about Impulse. So
yeah, I don't know.
But Zack Snyder had a habit of changing characters from their original roots. So I guess that's just another thing. He's like, what if the Flash was awkward?
I think that's the most dramatic change. I think everybody is pretty much the same.
Doesn't Batman still snap people's necks and shit?
He hasn't killed anybody. He hasn't killed like the people. He killed he kills parademons, but he does that in the comics. So that's okay.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Parademons have no souls.
Isn't that kind of fucked up?
Parademons have no souls. They're like monsters.
What the fuck, Batman? Alienist much?
Nah, they were coming. They killed Victor's dad. No, they didn't. Not them. They tried to. Whatever. It's all right. I mean, I wish they had kept it to like the original plan was to release it in episodes, and I wish they kind of did that. I feel like it would go down a little smoother than a 4-hour fucking movie. Jesus fuck. But
that's a whole part-time shift.
Yeah, not a spoiler. Black suit Superman's pretty cool. I feel like there's no reason for him to be in the black suit, but fan service, I guess. Just like, I gave you the black suit, guys. Check it out. It's Black Suit Superman. It's that thing you like. I can't wait for Josh. Did he have some
grays in his hair?
No, he didn't. He doesn't have grays in his hair with the black suit, I think. Doesn't he? Oh, no, yeah, you're right. He does a little bit. I think I remember when, like...
He has a beard, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was before that was before Rebirth, when they, like, fully integrated him in. But, yeah, no, you're right about that, though. There's a twist at the very end that I don't want to spoil for Josh. Not really a twist, but I heard it's the one original scene that they went back and shot. And it's at the very end, and I can't wait to
see it. Why don't you go for it? Fuck it.
No, I don't want to spoil it for you.
All right.
Because it's so fun. You might get spoiled, though, because he's been popping up on my Facebook feed, and I'm like, damn, Josh might run into this.
I mean, I wouldn't watch it. I've seen Dark Side.
Do you really want to know? Should I just say it?
Was he talking to them through a portal or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this. Darkseid, he doesn't come and fight the Justice League.
No, I know.
He just stays. He stays in Apocalypse after he sees the fucking ass whooping that Superman.
He did smoke one of his generals.
After he watched Superman manhandle Steppenwolf, it was nothing. He was just like, never mind. I'll come back another day.
Easy, yeah. I'll say the fun of the occasion.
Yeah. Okay. Last chance. I'll ask one more time. Do you want to know what it is? No.
No. If it's not even that, then I really don't know. So
damn it. All right. Well, I'll keep it. Watch it by next week, man, because I do want to. I think it's really funny. But I mean, that's all I got to say about Justice League. I don't hate it. It's just very long, and you feel it. I feel like you feel it. But if that's all, that was One Shots, everybody. And with that, let's get into the show proper. It is time to randomize.
Kudos.
One Piece. Yeah.
RGC.
This is Josh's certified really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
You know what? Fuck it, it's mine too. I don't care.
Certified RGC.
I made a last minute decision.
Certified RGC.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. It's One Piece was my favorite, but it was an overall less interesting week in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, this is a pretty regular week in manga, honestly. I wouldn't say it was less interesting. I would just say it's kind of like a lot of series are in a transition point, I feel. So,
Yeah, all the series were popping off, and they need a not pop off week, They just need to chill.
Yeah, they're just on the incline.
Because
in terms of
I remember there was a week that was action fucking packed. There was a week that everything was slapping. So
yeah. But this is One Piece chapter 1008, leader of the Atayama Thieves Brigade, Ashura Doji. Okay, so last we left off, the Akazaya 9 woke up to realize that Odin has basically saved them. or they think that Odin saved them. And he's like, haha, I've come to help you guys. And everybody's like, oh my God, Odin's alive. Oh my God. And I theorized last week that it was like the fox from way back that can transform into things and was protecting Odin's sword. I thought he came up, turned into Odin and saved them for some reason. But, you know, it turns out I was wrong as everybody's just like very thrilled. And everybody's like, oh my God, he's here. And then Ashura Doji immediately is like, not so fast. He's got to be a fake. And, yeah, she's thinking, wait a minute. What are you talking about? He's right there. He's right before our eyes, Kinemon is like. And Raizo is like, remember what Toki said? And Toki, he says that mankind cannot return to the past. Toki had the power to go into the future, but Lord Odin died that day. If he would have traveled to the future, that truth would never change. So he was just he was kind of confused about it. And at that point,
no way.
Yeah, there's no way he's alive, essentially. He got shot in the fucking face. That kills you even in the One Piece world. It's probably the only way to kill someone outside of a lava fist through the heart. So
yeah, apparently.
So this Odin figure just starts drawing his sword as Kinemon's just trying to hold on to hope that this is actually Odin. But Ashura Doji just smacks the shit out of him, and then he slashes Odin, and there's no blood drawn from the slash. And that's when Odin's like, fuck you, and stabs Ashura Doji through the heart. And man, at that moment,
Odin?
Yeah. And at that point, that's when Ashura Doji starts breaking down, and he's like, we all feel the same way. We all wanted it to be him. And I'm like, oh.
I wanted it to be him, too.
Didn't we all? And
when he started talking about Toki, I was like, oh, man, that's a good point. Damn.
Yeah. And it turns out that this thing is actually just it's a painting of Kanjuro, who's still alive, but on kind of death's door.
A really good painting, mind you. This guy's an asshole.
Yeah, it's you remember
really
that?
Ain't about shit.
You remember when he revealed he was actually a really good artist? That's the fucking. Oh my God, that is the pettiest undercover move to use your non-dominant hand to draw and use your powers. So, yeah, everybody's just like, I'm gonna... Kanjuro reveals through the Odin painting that he's like, I'm on death's door, I'm deeply wounded, but I will die having pierced the very heart of the Kozuki clan. And, yeah, Kanjuro's going after Momonosuke. So, damn. And that's not all. Apparently, this fucking drawing is also strapped with dynamite. So Ashura Doji makes the ultimate sacrifice play, and he just bum rushes the fucking Odin clone, and just sacrifices himself as the Odin clone explodes outside, him screaming to never defile Kozuki Odin again. He explodes, and I'm pretty certain that Ashura Doji is dead now.
No.
Yeah, man. Big respects up to one of the original 9.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, he's one of the cooler ones. He
died. He died to a painting, though, bro. I was a little upset about that.
I mean,
Kanjuro right now could draw another picture of him and defile Kozuki Odin.
I mean, Kanjuro seems to only have the strength to kill this little boy. So if anybody crosses his path, he's dead. Because he doesn't have enough power to fight back against anybody. I don't think he has any power to defile Kozuki Odin again.
No, I hope not. Or Ashura would really, his death would really be in vain.
Yeah. So yeah, Kinemon gets fucking tight and he dashes for the door. But unfortunately he runs into fucking Jack, who finally makes it over to their room. And this whole thing kind of begs the question still, just on a side note, then who did heal them? Who was really tending to them? Because it wasn't this painting. Because why would this painting do that? It's real bizarre. But in any case, Jack shows up and Dogstorm is like, we only need one of us to take this guy, so you guys go ahead. And he allows the Akazaya 9 to escape, and Dogstorm is going to take on Jack on his own. They're both wounded, so it's kind of like an even battle. And then we get a pretty big bombshell as we cut to another room. There's a fire that broke out in the castle, and it turns out the person who lit it was the Shogun Orochi.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, I knew that bitch wasn't dead.
Ooh, Otis wasn't one of your best ploys.
This was a good one. I mean, I guess I don't think he died. I don't think he lived because he's a Hydra, but because
we already know he's not a Hydra. Okay.
Kozuki Odin revealed that like paintings don't bleed. I don't think Orochi bled when he got his head cut off, so I think he had Conjuro.
Wait, so that was wow! I didn't even think that he was a Conjuro painting.
Yeah,
you think so?
I didn't even think about that possibility. Honestly, he got me there.
Yeah, good one.
I don't think I've even seen anybody theorize that it was a Conjuro painting.
Yeah. So he's still around and being a dickhead, but at least he's not on Kaido's side anymore. So he's just out here trying to ruin everything for everybody, which I guess is not terrible for the Straw Hat side, I guess. Meanwhile, we cut back to Momonosuke and Yamato talking, and yeah, Momonosuke is back to being a kid. He has a heart. He's better at controlling it than he used to be, so he was able to revert backwards. And at that point, Yamamoto is like, "Wow, if your powers really work like my dad's, then you could really help everybody." But she's excited to go up and fight Kaido herself at some point, so that's pretty cool. And it's revealed that Momonosuke knows that Luffy is greatly weakened, but he still finds somehow. And obviously because he has like Haki, I'm sure he has like observation Haki, and he can sense Luffy from above. Speaking of which, on the rooftop of Onigashima, we cut back to the battle. Luffy is sent backwards. Zoro, Kid, Killer, and Law are all just in a line, just thinking about what they're going to do. They're just like, shit.
And much to my surprise, Zoro didn't finish the conflict already. Interesting.
Yeah, weird how Zoro just didn't single-handedly defeat Big Mom and Kaido. Like,
must be part of the plot.
I mean, looks like
I don't know, Oda.
Like
you're kind of
plot armor.
Yeah,
Kaido, you're kind of falling asleep here. I mean, Oda, you're kind of falling asleep here.
Yeah,
bud.
Looks
you
like
got a GG machine standing there. You can't just freak. You have to write some type of story about that. You can't just act like he's not there.
I'll tell you what. I think Zoro's just concerned that if he if he uses all his power, he might kill everybody else on this rooftop as well. So he's like, I got to think of a way to get these guys out of here.
I don't know if you guys remember, but there was this scene in Kill Bill where she goes back to the girl goes back to Japan to go get a sword from the dude, and after everything's said and done, he hands it to her, and he's like, "Man, like I made an oath to God that I would never make a sword again. So if you run into God along your path, I hope you cut him down with this blade," or something like that. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, bro, I bet Zolo could do that. I bet he could cut God.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, he's trying to cut anything. So that's
anything, bro.
But yeah, the chapter ends where we actually finally get to see Kaido's half human, half beast form. And it is pretty cool. He's got multiple horns. He's got scaly skin, but a human body. Big Moms is just chilling on the cloud as per usual. And yeah, they look like everybody's just thinking like, we got to split them apart, I guess, because both of them together is just too OP at this point.
Yeah, they synergize too well, huh?
Yeah. Luffy's not with no plan. His whole plan is to just continue to bum rush them until it works. But yeah, kids.
I guess that hell is my home territory.
Ooh, yeah.
I got.
That That's a boss line. I'll tell you what. Like
Right.
Eustace Kid says that with the two of them standing side by side, it looks like we're in hell. And Luffy says that suits me just fine. I've been to hell and back a few times already. It's home territory. And Kaido's like, "Whoo, that's a straw hat." Sheesh. All right, cold line. Yeah, pretty cool line from Luffy, honestly.
Well, it's called partner, but it
gets
should be called Gangsta Time.
He gets
I mean, that
time.
honestly solidified it for me as the chapter of the week. It didn't. It also didn't hurt that it was the one I saved for last.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, very fun chapter to read. I'm very into it. Luckily, One Piece is not off next week. So
Nice.
we get consecutive One Piece chapters for maybe another week, and then it's off again. But
We don't deserve it.
yeah, we're not worthy. But fantastic chapter. That's all I got to say about it. Any closing thoughts, boys?
Nope.
All right, it is time. Undead Unluck. This is Undead Unluck, chapter 57, Jinkai. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't.
Alternate title. Oh, so you got stronger.
Oh, you look pretty tough now, huh? Oh, you've
there
been.
you go.
You're so tough, huh?
Huh? You've been training, huh? We'll get to it. We start off with a flashback.
Like the Dio approaching me meme.
Yeah. We start off with a flashback of Shen's backstory, and he's confronting a bunch of like street thugs who was fucking with his sister named May. It's not the girl that he's hanging out with now, but yeah, they were poor on the street. They look like just homeless kids, and he beats them up and saves his sister. And we cut to the present where Shen is standing over the destroyed bodies of Summer. And as he's about to get jumped by another little piece of Summer, his assistant Mui comes in and slashes him. And he has and this is a thing over the series where he has tried to keep her out of conflict at all times. And so now that she's in conflict, he punishes her by playing this game where he makes her say the polar opposite of what she thinks of him, strictly to hurt his feelings, and that hurts her feelings. Like the mere act of hurting his feelings hurts her feelings.
Yeah, that. He's got a funny sense of humor, man. This author, it's definitely like I can't even think of a word to describe it. It's different.
Yeah, I mean, using your superpowers for a gag like this is pretty funny. As we all know, Shen has the power of untruth, where he can just make you do the opposite thing of what you want to do, or say the opposite thing of what you want to do, or what you want to think, depending on how much he likes you. So, there's that. And that's when Andy and Fuko show up, and we learn a little bit more about the UMA known as Summer. This Summer thing is just like a little fucking monster thing that goes around and gets stronger the more gunpowder and stuff like that it eats. And it also spawns it also spawns little other bodies, which Shen and his assistant have been dealing with. So they have Top running around Taiwan looking for the core body of Summer, and the rest of them are just standing around this massive supply of gunpowder, just hoping to lure it. And this is where, this is where the aforementioned panel Josh was referencing before, where they're having a conversation and Shen just
he's looking at him like, bro, why the fuck are you looking at me like that?
Yeah, Shen is like,
I'm not your man's like that.
You've become
he's smiling with his whole face at him.
Yeah.
He's smiling with his whole soul.
Yeah, his entire soul. He's just like, oh, you've become strong, haven't you? It seems you're almost as strong as Victor. I would sure love to square off against you. And Andy's just like, calm down. God.
Like, relax, my nigga.
We are working right now. And I guess at that point, that's when one of the bigger bodies of Summer pulls up. It's a pretty big boy, but it's not the main body. So Shen is just like, how about you show me how strong you've gotten? And Andy's like, okay, basically. And he just uses his deep crimson crescent moon, chops this thing in half, one-shotted. And Feng, looking out in the distance, who's part of Under, he says to himself, I guess in Chinese, saying, Jinkai. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's how...
both of them say it. The bad guy and...
Yeah, Feng goes, Jinkai. And he has a little Summer on him, which is interesting.
It is interesting.
I wonder if that's like the body. That's the main body. But yeah, he goes, Jinkai. And then this monster that he just cut in half explodes. More fireworks because it's full of fireworks. And that's when Feng is like, Jinkai. So I wonder if they're connected in some way. Oh my god, what if Feng is Mei? Dun dun dun. That's my theory. Did you guys hear me?
Could you repeat what your theory is?
Yeah, I said what if Feng is his sister Mei from the flashback? Yeah.
Is that girl not his sister?
No, that's Mui. That's not hit. That's not Mei.
Yo, that would be wild. It has to be. It has to be. Because they both speak the same language. They both have to be negators because only negators are unaffected.
Yeah.
Duh. But then, like, what other negator would... Well, it doesn't have to be his sister. I guess there are other Chinese people.
You sure about that?
That exists.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure there's more than just
two Chinese people.
Two Chinese people in this world. So.
I mean, honestly, there has to be more than two because Mui is Chinese still. Wait, how is she? Oh, does she have like a translator thing?
He had parents, right? And he's not mixed, so there's. They had to have.
His parents are probably dead because he was like he was on the street with his sister alone. It looked like. So I think the theory is that.
And he's a negator, so they all live sad boy lives.
Yeah, they all do.
Happened to their parents. Yeah,
they all killed their parents.
Not a criticism. It's just
like almost all of them killed. 90% of them killed their parents. I don't know a single one. I guess like Ano is the only one I know of that didn't somehow kill his family with his negation.
Right.
But
knowing.
Yeah, I mean that's where the chapter ends. The hunt for Summer continues. A little bit of a transitionary chapter, like we said earlier. A lot of these chapters are kind of like that. Just bridges to the next conflict. So not a bad chapter. Kind of fun. A little interesting to see a little bit more of Shen's backstory. I'm almost positive that Feng is actually Mei, his sister. I'm almost positive. And
well, you called that. I can't.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
I got nothing on that.
I'm no like fortune teller. I'm 99% wrong. Last week I thought it was the fox in One Piece. I'm very bad at theorizing, but if I can get this one right, I feel like my soul will be at peace. So I'm looking forward to that.
For you, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next chapter, if only for that. Honestly, but you guys ready to move forward?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is time to randomize. I'll pick this one. Black Clover. This is Black Clover, chapter 287, Day of Atonement.
Before we say anything,
Josh already knows my heart.
I want to go ahead and make a proposal, right? As far as the tide situation goes, I feel like
how about that?
Our vote should influence what ultimately makes it, like, you know, the overall. I mean, we can leave it as a tie,
okay,
and let that be cool, or we can have our VGIs influence it.
To say this, I mean, I guess I didn't mention it yet, but this is tied for the audience RGC of the week. This is one of the series, so I guess it gets one of these. I guess.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Certified RGC.
Certified RGC.
the first time it's tied or anything is tied in the polls. I genuinely didn't think that could happen. So I never thought that a tie would ever occur, but we have one.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, color pages are always dope. We open up with a color page here. And Tabata's color pages are usually top notch, I would say. But honestly, this wouldn't. I mean, if we're doing a tiebreaker based on what we think would be the RGC, this one is not it for me. Between the two,
I was gonna say we voted on One Piece, so it depends on if one of us votes for the other one, which
I guess. I mean, Brian's the tiebreaker, and I'm pretty sure since this is not his RGC, the other one wins the ultimate RGC.
I think that's fair.
I mean, I also wouldn't give this my RGC, but we'll get into it.
Whatever, it could be a tie. Whatever. Yeah.
This is Black Clover 287, Day of Atonement. Last we left off, we got a little bit of Noct's backstory, as he is getting absolutely schmacked by these opening ring demons, like not even the strongest of the strongest yet. He's getting absolutely destroyed, and we cut back to a little bit more of his backstory. We get to find out how exactly he became the vice captain of the Black Bulls. It was over kind of the grave of his brother Morgan, who passed away, canceling a demon contract with him and the demon known as Lucifungus. And he was also very close with Yami, and Yami approaches him and says, someday I'm going to make my own brigade. And if that were to happen, I want you to be my vice captain. He basically he's close with his family. So it makes sense that Morgan was probably his choice to be a vice captain. And now that he's gone, his brother is that next choice because he's also kind of close to his brother.
And they used to be cool back in the day before he even joined the brigade. Remember, they was like running the streets together and shit. So I had to think about that too at first. I was like, it's kind of a reach going from his brother, just because.
Yeah.
But it makes total sense because they were cool.
You remember what they were like? They were very close. But yeah, and that with that being said, we kind of know all we really have to know about Noct. Although I would like to have known how he got so many demons under his employ, but we cut back to the present, and he's basically like, well, I guess I'm sacrificing my life right now. So Plumede, Wagner, combine with me. And they agree because, Noct's been nice with them. He's shown them things that they could never have seen in the underworld, and they believe in him. And he turns into Omnimon, basically from the Digi. He turns into he uses Devil Union mode, Gallus X Velis, and turns into
that shit is fire.
It is cool. Yeah, it's a cool form. And the demons are like, "What is this? His magic grew." And then he uses Shadow Magic, Monument of Atonement, where it looks like it's just a big grave closing in on them. And it's basically the same kind of game of tag that they were playing before. It's like just a stronger, infinite version of that Dark Hunt thing that he did before. So he seals them in, and it looks like it's over, but then the demon's magic is so fucking strong that it burns and it freezes through this ultimate spell, and I guess kills the other demons that Noct had a union with. So these demons are like, devil flame magic, devil ice magic, we're fucking rad. So Noct is about to lose hard as they're all laughing.
Very hard.
Yeah, and he's like, good. Screams of agony are cool.
Yeah, man, these devils they look dead on the ground. I was kind of like, damn.
That made me sad too.
But they was chill as hell, little ass demons.
Yeah, the little demons.
And then they just laughing at him. I was like, oh my god, this is bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
When's the last time you seen someone take an L like that?
Renji, maybe.
That was a while ago. It had to be someone.
Yeah, there had to be
somebody. We've seen some L's. There's been some L's. You read Attack on Titan, bro. That's
true. I mean, that's almost disqualified with how many L's.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
With how many L's are dealt. early in that
that's
series.
their primary goal, to make you feel very sad about the situation.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I felt very depressed watching Attack on Titan a lot of the time. Just like, well, how do you get out of this situation? And luckily, Black Clover does not share that woe, because as Noct is thinking to himself, is like, there's no human who could beat a supreme devil. We then cut over to a 2-page spread of you know what time it is. The champ is here! Asta himself just blasting through in his full union form, lopping off one of the arms of the demons. And the demon's like, huh? What's this? It's severed?
It's not appearing again?
Last I checked, I had a hand here. And Noct thinks to himself, if anything could, it's anti-magic. And we get a splash page of Asta saying, what do you think you're doing to our vice captain? And that is where the chapter ends.
Ask me if I have thoughts.
Ask me if I have thoughts.
No, ask each other how if you have.
Hey,
thoughts,
Josh, do you
okay?
have thoughts?
Come on, guys. This is a partnership.
I have thoughts.
All right, I'll let you do your thoughts first.
I'm gonna give a quick one, and then I'll just vent later. Well, not vent, just I'll go off the top after you.
I'll vent. I'll vent for
my
both
quick
of us.
thing. All right, this is all I'll say. This could have been the RGC for me. It literally could have been if it just wasn't Asta that came in and saved him. And I have no problem with Asta. I like his new form. I want to see him fight, and I've accepted that. Black Clover. I always knew this. I always knew that it was always about Asta. See, that was my mistake with My Hero Academia. I should have knew that it was just like Black Clover, in that sense. That it's always going to be about him, and I'm foolish to believe anybody else is going to get a spotlight. So anyway, passive aggressiveness aside, I was taking playful shots, bro.
You relax. I don't
I'm
have
okay.
my sword out, bro. Like
I'm okay.
So that was it. Could have been the best, but they went with something they always do, and they did not have to.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, I mean, I'll say that I did not like this chapter. This chapter actively
straight up, you did not.
Yeah,
like
this
it.
chapter actively made me disappointed and angry. And I don't get that way often. I don't like to be that guy, but man, and maybe it's my fault, but I felt like, man, you know what? Things are different now. You know? Like,
why would you think that?
I don't know, Josh. I have hope. You guys are always just like, man, Black Clover is actually good. I thought, you know, like I always feel like such a hater when I talk about Black Clover, but I do have this chapter kind of represented everything I don't like about it. You know, like we don't even get Noct have a cool fight once. Like this is his first fight in the entire series, and he gets like raffle stomped.
Get smacked around.
Yeah, and he came into the series like, "Ooh, I'm the best. Ooh, I'm so strong.
Vice captain.
Yeah, I'm the vice. What are you gonna do about it? Everybody else, you guys should level up." He's talking all this shit to all the other characters. He's like, yo, you guys should get stronger, really. Like, I mean, you guys are so weak. You let Yami get taken, and then he gets fucking motherfucked by these demons. Easy.
And this is a shot at the author, right? Because obviously this guy's a fictional character.
Yeah, no,
who can't control his own destiny.
Yeah.
So I'm just being clear for everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm not angry at Noct.
Could have been a much cooler character that put in way more work before they smoked him.
No, not Noct. No, not the writer. Not the writer. Fuck the writer. I'm mad at Noct. Okay, I'm mad at him specifically.
Yeah.
That nigga
it's
got
his
you
fault.
hot, yo.
I mean, it's
got you feeling
that
some
guy.
type of way.
And look, I get it. I get that you have to like show how big of a deal these demons are. But you have how many of these demons? You couldn't sacrifice 2 of them for a minute? Like, how cool would it be? Like, I don't care if Noct gets taken out of the board, but not like this early. And like to be saved by Asta on top of that, should be still on his way. Like, why is he like just automatically here maybe 3 chapters after the first time he appeared? Like, I wish that things have gotten a little more dire. I wish like we could have seen Noct win this fight like, get real fucked up and then lose to the next rung of demons. That I would have been fine with that. It would have been like standard shonen, but I would have been okay with that. But I don't know. It just feels like a disservice to the character. This whole thing, all just to make Asta look better. And I felt this for the same trap as like it was always going to be about Asta, even worse than My Hero, because at least Kirishima beat a villain, or not beat one, but like he got his whole thing. He had a really cool moment on his own. At least like
with Fagnum, that shit was lit.
Yeah, other characters.
The sword, the spear, and the shield. I remember that.
And not every character.
You know what it is?
And not every character is bum rush. Not every character is bum rush saved by Asta single-handedly. Like this whole series, every single person in this universe loves this kid.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking other opinion. Everybody just loves this kid. This kid saves every single person in this series. Nobody really makes it far in this series without Asta coming in. And if they do defeat somebody on their own, it's because they thought about how many fucking push-ups Asta did. Even though he was really tired that day, he just decided to get up and do his fucking push-ups, and it inspires them to use their magic even more. It's like, damn, if Asta could do that one more push-up, I can do this water spell one more time. Ooh,
I mean, where would most of these characters be without Asta at this point? Dead.
I've been rewatching Black Clover. It happens as early as the very first arc that these people meet each other. Is that instantaneously this kid is an immediate inspiration to them, and they base their entire life's like philosophies and strategies around this child.
Hey, I mean,
if you don't like him, you're a hater.
And I get it. I mean, like, I wish I get it. I get what he's supposed to be, but it doesn't translate. It fucking makes me angry because like no character could have their moment without Asta coming in. It's like, actually, it's my powers that are. I have to nerf everyone. I have to solo the entire universe in order to become a wit. I won't be the Wizard King unless I solo this entire fucking castle full of demons and Dark Triad members.
Everybody on my back.
Like, might defeat Zeno, but that's it. That's all he's doing this arc. I bet.
He might not even. We'll see.
Ooh,
we'll see.
I'm heated. Next week I'll be better about it, but this week I'm going to be annoyed. Next week I'll be.
I hope the author.
I just needed to get it off my chest. Next week I'll be like, oh, Asta's form is cool. I'll be back. I just need to purge my feelings every now and then. But this is how I feel. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I don't want to devolve too deep. But I went off, and I said what I said.
Yeah, y'all heard what Christian said.
I wasn't very unbiased of you.
Yeah, Mr. Nah, come on.
No, that's the ultimate.
I'm kidding.
I'll tell you what. That's the ultimate unbiased move, is to not like us. Because everybody in this series is like, I'm biased towards Asta. Not me. I see it.
Nuh-uh.
Not me, not the fucking unbiased king.
I saw him running around without a mask.
No mask, Asta.
That guy.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's all I got to say about this chapter. Next week I'll be nicer. But if you guys didn't have anything to say. All right.
No, I'm good to go.
Nope.
All right. Let's randomize. Oh, man, my mouse stopped working. Here we go. X-Men. We only have one X book. Thus one.
Bro, thank God we only got one fucking X book. I think they knew what they was throwing out at us.
Yeah, this is a pretty dense motherfucker in terms of story. It's not like a long book, but there's a lot that happens in it. Last we left off with X-Men, and this is the Hickman book. This is the mainline series, so a lot of this is vital. This is X-Men number 19. Last we left off, we are catching up with the group of mutants that entered the Vault, which is this like basically this futuristic fucking post-human factory, like this constantly evolving mechanism that's hard to explain because it's Hickman technology, and it is a lot. So basically, the premise behind this is that inside of the Vault, time moves very differently. There could be a week outside as we learn in this comic, a week outside essentially boils down to 100 years inside. So
century.
Yeah. It's the hyperbolic time chamber on fucking steroids. So they sent in the most adaptable mutants that they have. Wolverine, former X-23, current secondary Wolverine, Laura. Sync, who has the ability to copy abilities and other things. And Darwin, who is basically able to adapt to any surrounding in order to survive.
Both passively and not... Is aggressive the word? Both passive and actively.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, his body just adjusts automatically if he doesn't put an effort to do it himself. It just happens.
Yeah, to survive, but he can also will his body to do certain things.
Exactly.
Isn't that the guy who got killed in
First Class? Yeah.
Yeah,
First Class.
Really dumb.
I like the movie.
The one person that wouldn't have. It was a cool movie, but that was. He was weird. The one person that wasn't supposed to die.
To Shaw, out of all people, Sebastian Shaw killed him. But in any case, last we left off, they were facing off against the Children of the Vault, which are, progressively evolving organisms that are spawned by this city. And the city can just kind of designate them to evolve further. And the reason that they're studying this place in the first place is because this is where they believe this massive threat to mutant kind called the post-humans, who are kind of like these humans merged with technology. This is where they'll spawn. So they're trying to, I guess, learn as much as possible about it. Last we left off, they fought some of the Children of the Vault, and one of them basically suicide bombed themselves, but the 3 mutants managed to survive that. And yeah, it turns out they're in here for a very long time. We get a little timeline throughout the issue where it explains what happens. I can't go through all of them because then we'll be here forever, but we get a little bit of the specifics of what happens in this timeline as the story parts of this comic. We learn that Darwin eventually assimilates so much with the city that he's able to basically give off a signal that kind of hides them from the Children of the Vault and the city in general. So, they just sat back for a while and they watched and they learned as the city, incubated children, essentially. And one day they went in and infiltrated one of the hives where the kids are being grown. And it turns out that that's not a good idea because there is one child known as Madre, Spanish for mother. So that's interesting. Who kind of just watches them while they sleep, guards them. And at some point they make this mistake where they leave a piece of Darwin behind, and the Children of the Vault pick it up and use it against them. The Vault kind of assimilates the DNA that they got from Darwin, which is pretty shitty for them to have, because if their children can be able to adapt to anything, that's pretty rough. Not too cool. So at some point, they could only go so far doing this covert shit, so they decided to go in there, take down Madre, and get some real information. And they learn a little bit about what's actually going on in the city from this child known as Diamante. And essentially, he knows everything the city does. And years ago, when the X-Men first fought the Children of the Vault, they were the first generation children. And because they lost, the city said, oh, okay, I gotta, adapt to the information I got and make new children. And so the second generation kids were made. And that generation of kids had Serafina, who in House and Powers of X is revealed to have escaped the Vault and was captured by Orcus, and then escaped again, as we see in X-Men. And when she came back, they evolved those kids further based on the information they got from her. So, the city's ever evolving, and that's the whole thing. So in order to fight fire with fire, the X-Men themselves had to kind of adapt themselves. they can't escape because there's this shield around the city, so they gotta stay and fight basically until the mission's done. And in a certain raid to go into the city itself and like figure out what they can learn, they got ambushed and Darwin was taken from them. This is where it kind of... Oh, sorry.
No, if I may, well, just to briefly recap what you were saying, right? They got their information. They broke, they were in the city for years and years and years. We know that, sneaking around, trying to, learn as much as they can. And then they got to a point where they got to Diamante, and they got all the information they needed. And they knew that the city was at a point where, it felt like it wasn't enough. So, to continue evolving. So the reason they're even there for even longer than that is because they can't find a way to break out of the temporal bubble that they're in. So they're essentially trapped within the city, like I said, for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty insane.
Yeah, which is a few weeks in the outside time.
So this was so them they as you were about to say, Chris, they're planning on an attack on the city itself, the actual brain center of the city, and it's more so a desperation play because they're trying to find a way how to get home and bring back that information because that is the mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, to get back home. Yeah. So as you were saying,
yeah. So both Darwin and Wolverine are taken. But using the powers of a child known as Terremoto that Sync takes, he basically burrows underground and manages to escape the city for a time. He actually kind of waits out for a week, which is a century in the time of the city. So he waits out, I guess, catches his breath for a week, and then he returns to rescue Wolverine and Darwin. But by the time he gets back, only Wolverine is there. He manages to save Wolverine. Darwin's not there, and they kind of refuse to leave without Darwin. So they go in and they try to save Darwin. They find him in this weird tubey thing where he's levitating in this beam of light, and I guess they use his powers to. They explain what happens here in this little detail thing as that big energy beam thing is that they basically atomized Darwin and used him to make the fourth generation of children. So yeah, I think all these guys essentially have Darwin's powers on top of their powers, where they're adaptable to a degree. There's
I mean, I don't know how exactly they're gonna flesh it out, but I would just imagine that it's more so than them just all having some type of a slice of his ability or something like that. I think it's just the means to advance them further.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that ingredient. Maybe. I just think it wouldn't be super creative if they were all we're all adaptive now.
Yeah.
Too.
No, I think
that might be the case,
right.
but I think it's more so kind of yes, the next ingredient we need to level up.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about this is I might be skipping ahead in the story. But
I don't think.
I mean, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Had they not gone in with Darwin, they would not have been able to upgrade to that point. And what's significant about that is that when Serafina, the black and white chick that they rescued from Orcus all the way back in Dawn of X, right?
Mm-hmm.
She came back to the city with the information, and the city confirmed that they had. That they did not have the means to combat against Krakoan era mutantdom. Mm-hmm. Who have conquered death and et cetera, and have became so mighty.
Yeah. Even with the third generation kids, they upgraded once and they're like, "Damn, we're still not good."
Yeah. So they really didn't. You could maybe at some point they would have been able to with time, but maybe it wouldn't have been enough time because obviously we know it's finite. There is a point where the phalanx come and destroy the earth, et cetera.
Yeah.
But nah, man, them bringing Darwin was a huge miscalculation.
Yeah, and it stinks because that's a hindsight is 2020 move because they had no idea. I mean, the whole point of this was to learn what they were up to. And it turns out they brought them what they needed to go
Yeah,
further.
they fucking learned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole time they were sneaking around, they knew they was, and they lured them. They lured them into figuring out what Darwin was about, getting pieces of him, and then finally getting the full source material. Like, you know, setting literally like they baited them into, because they knew how desperate they was, and they knew it was predictable. They was trying to get out.
Yeah.
You know, what else could they want to do? You know, they couldn't make an effort to destroy the city. They knew they had enough power to stop these 3 mutants. It wasn't enough.
Exactly.
They could definitely survive. But yeah, it was really well thought out. And these informational pages have always been pretty solid amongst all of the X books, but wow, do they do a really great job at, I guess, like damn near condensing the story that happens over almost hundreds of years.
Yeah.
It's really, really well documented.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's still more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Also.
Yeah, so after Darwin is atomized and, you know, the 4th children are starting to evolve now, Wolverine and Sync are like, fuck it, let's get the fuck out of here. So
yeah, like we gotta go. Yeah,
yeah, we gotta get the fuck out. Okay, so the mutant recon team, which is Wolverine and Sync, they use stasis DNA of Mebravon, a child disruptor, to get through the shields. And I mean, it's not a painless plan. They can get through the shield, but it fucking hurts. And you know, Wolverine gets through because of the healing factor, and Sync gets through because Wolverine transfers their powers basically to him. But it burns off all their clothes and their hair, except for their eyebrows.
And it dampens their powers, so they can't really heal after the fact.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, wait, how do they survive then? But I guess as they passed through, they actively healed via Laura's, via Wolverine's healing factor, and then after the barrier. They couldn't heal or use the power, which is significant.
Yeah. I mean, they can use their power because, like, okay, so what happens is that, like, now...
Oh, you know what? I mean, you're right.
That's why it hurts them, you know? Like, the shield will just, like, fucking really fuck with their powers, but I guess because they used the disruptor, that kid disruptor, to, like, minimize the effects of the shield, that's why they were able to heal as much as they are or get through it at all and keep their powers for the most part. That's how I see it.
Wait, why does he say you don't have your powers then? They both say to each other they don't have each other's powers, but Laura's still able to pull out her knives. Is it not her ability?
Wait,
is that just a skeletal thing?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I think this is maybe a miss.
I mean, it's fine. You could still interpret it as somebody had to stay behind to slow them down because, like, Wolverine enough is not able to defeat these super evolved fucking post-human children of the vault.
Yeah,
guys.
So they're about to get chased down by the now evolved children, and Laura basically tells him to leave. You know, I'll hold him back. I'm strong enough right now that I can, buy you some time. And Sync manages to just walk out the front door of the vault, but not for very far because he just gets blasted from behind. And this was a cool move where he's like, now that he's out, Professor X can reach him. So he calls out to Professor X in his mind, and he's like, Professor, can you hear me? And I guess that, like, Professor X takes that exact moment to, like, back up Sync's, like, entire mind.
Yeah. I mean, hundreds of years of information.
This is a buzzer beater if I've ever seen a fucking buzzer beater. And yeah, the children kill Sync, and we cut over to Krakoa where Sync is being reborn. He is able to confirm the death of Laura because she died before him, and he saw her sacrifice herself for him. So. Darwin, not only is Sync is back, but Laura is also back.
Oh, by the way, yeah, they also brought Darwin back as well because you can. All right, guys, so I thought about this as well, and it could be an interesting plot point in the future, but the wording. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the point, but basically they were saying that they was getting ready for a final atomization of Darwin. Meaning it seemed like they was going to, like, maybe there was only so many times they could do this with his body before it could, whether there was a limit to how much he could take, or maybe there's a limit to how much they can do with it before his body adapts to them not being able to do to it. I mean, like configure it. Who knows? But they in the writing it said that it was okay. Look. It's in the writing. Whatever.
I guess.
Just take my word for it.
No, you're right.
Oh no, it says right here. Subject Darwin final atomization and biomass seeding complete. 4th generation children now possible. Begin child. Yeah.
So now the kids are cooking. So it's not.
Yeah, they got what they needed from him. So he's dead.
Yeah, and at this point, you got to resurrect Darwin. I mean, like,
yeah,
they already got what they needed. Why not resurrect Darwin? Yeah, I mean, this was a fantastic. There's also this underlying like subplot.
Oh yeah.
This thematic thing about what love really is, because like Sink and Wolverine become kind of like there's no like romantic scene with them, but they it's implied that like they fall in love with each other over the centuries they spent together in the vault. And he thinks about this time where he talked to his dad about his mom, and how the idea of dying for someone to express love is a very human idea, whereas like someone like him and Wolverine, who are basically immortals, that for them love is living for someone who can just kind of live forever and just staying alive just so they can be with them or for their sake. It's an interesting thing. It's a very, I guess, Hickmanian way of looking at things, to separate from a human mindset and go to like this weird higher conscious type of thinking. I mean, it's not like uber important, but it is a nice little, like it's a nice little seasoning on a story where you could get like a little sub theme going on here as well. And comics in particular are kind of actually pretty good at that, I would say. Like the trials they go through being allegories for a deeper meaning. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what an issue. Even if there were other...
I mean, hold on. If I may continue on what you were saying with their relationship, I mean, even aside the philosophical aspect of it, it definitely gave it emotional stakes. I mean, there's certain things we could only illustrate and articulate to y'all, but within the pages reading them as there was this this overlaying commentary. All right, so the only person that makes it out the vault is Sink, and he's the only person that got his memories back.
Mm-hmm.
So Laura comes back and she doesn't have any of those memories and none of that the memory of that bond. So it kind of makes it a little tragic. I don't know if this is a love interest that they're gonna like build on for the future. I think it would be cool. I kind of think it was just meant to tell a little story and give it emotional stakes, but it was very well done. It made me think. Pulled at the heartstrings. It was a really good issue of X-Men, man. This was talk about setting the bar and or rather maintaining a standard.
Yeah,
this is the Hickman we love.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best issue of X-Men, like Hickman's personal writings of X-Men in a long time. Probably like this is probably the best issue. I can't recall a better one. Except for maybe the first arc where they go to Orcus. I thought that was pretty fire, but this was an unrivaled. And to jump on that, you're right. Like without Sink surviving, living for someone, like Laura wouldn't even be resurrected. They can't resurrect somebody unless they know they're dead. Sink being the only person who saw both of them die and making it out himself is super important, because then nobody would have resurrected Sink, But
wow, that was a really nice parallel, and it also kind of satisfies me in a sense that even if there isn't any more romance pursued after the fact, he kind of did it. He's like, yo, I did that, and I'll endure it and it's like I'll endure that pain and that ache of missing out on that, and I'll be okay, satisfied knowing that I was able to keep you alive.
Yeah,
that was
Sick.
Very well said, Chris. Very well done, Mr. Hickman.
I mean, dog, if there were other, this is the only American comic we're covering this week. Even if there were others, easily VGI.
Oh, absolutely. And I like the Flash. I thought the Flash was pretty cool.
The Flash did come out.
It was a little weird.
We forgot to do it as a one shot. But classic Flash. Honestly, it felt cool. Pretty good. Vintage
it was
Flash.
Classic Flash. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got to say about the X-Men. You ready to move on?
Yes.
All right, it is time to randomize.
Bloody Cross.
I used Bloody Cross twice this week.
Yeah, you did.
My Hero Academia.
My Brian Academia.
This was very close to being my RGC. And this is the series.
It's RGC for me. RGC,
Brian,
GC.
This is the other series that was tied with Black Clover for certified really good chapter.
Let's go. All right, audience. I love you. I love you, all right? I'll never doubt your power ever again.
Yeah, I mean, this is My Hero Academia, chapter 307. Been a while. We open up in a dilapidated city where we see some characters we haven't seen in a while. Yo Shindo from Ketsubutsu Academy and his friend Turtleneck Tatame Nakagame. I remember her. She's the girl who can like fold into herself, basically. Like her limbs go inside of herself. She can like withdraw like a turtle. I remember. You remember? I remember. And they're patrolling the city. I mean, obviously the world of heroes is extremely short-handed. So I guess students are now able to just like walk around and do shit. They basically come across the.
I was wondering when we were gonna see this guy again, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You remember that guy?
I do. He's the guy with the earthquake powers. I remember him.
No. But was you?
Yeah, I was wondering when he was gonna come back.
You guys were thinking about him prior to this chapter?
I often think about the kids who are not in
because he was kind of a big deal.
I remember the kids that aren't in UA.
I really don't remember this guy at all. I feel bad.
I keep all.
They made him out to be a big deal.
Yeah, I keep these kids in the back of my mind because they're like the Sand Village and the Hidden Cloud kids. You know, the guys that are just like outside of the main purview of the series. So you never know when they're going to show up.
And Tempest.
Yeah, there's Tempest as well. But yeah, this kid in particular, I remember him for being kind of like designed as basically combined Bakugo and Midoriya. Like this is what they would look like if you merged them. And he's going out to talk to these civilians who have kind of like barricaded themselves in this town and trying to convince them to move into the schools, the shelters that they established for civilians that aren't, that are in the crossfires of villains. And these civilians are like, yo, we don't trust heroes anymore. We'll take it upon ourselves. We got all this gear. So, it's been working so far. Why do I got to change? But yeah, he's just trying to convince them to leave. And Yo has this way of speaking, which is just like this fake, like confidence. He's got this like putting like condescension to him. That's the word I'm looking for. He's just like, why should we trust you guys? You can't do shit. And he's like, we're simply more proficient at combat than you fine people. These adults are like, fuck out of here, get out of here. And yeah, they just leave because they can't force these folks to go to these shelters. And the girl is kind of like taunting him. And that's when they get a call that Jailbreaker is now loose in the city and he is very close to them. And it turns out they turn around and they see this fucking guy jumping from building to building like the Hulk. And it turns out...
like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, turns out it's muscular. He just blasts through this building. 2-page spread. Very cool, honestly.
His name is Jailbreaker?
I guess they call him Jailbreaker now, but his original name was Muscular.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna Hulk smash you. Turtleneck fucks off because she's like, yeah, no, fuck this. This guy is a beast. Yo stays behind because he's a hero. He has to fight. and he starts fighting with Muscular. The Nakagane, she goes back into the building and tries to get the civilians out of there, tries to save them from Muscular, and she gets interrupted by Yo basically losing to Muscular pretty early on. He even tries to use his quirk, but man, Muscular is just so fucking strong because he's able to encase himself in like so many layers of muscle that his vibrations can't even get through his like armor. And then
12,000 layers of muscle fiber.
Yeah, that's a lot. And that's not even his like final form, because he uses his ultimate is Tremoring Earth, and all he does is bulk up his armor a little bit, and it doesn't fucking, it's already negated. And he's like, time for a blood frenzy, because Yo using his ultimate power just kind of like renders him immobile for a while. And right when he's about to finish off Yo, he gets hit with a smash, and there's just this whirlwind of dust as Muscular recovers himself, and he looks up, and all he hears is Muscular. No wonder my gift from the fourth wouldn't shut up. And it's Dark Midoriya.
The champ is here!
Yeah, honestly, I was a little surprised that he said something like that. That's not very Midoriya-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Bleach-esque.
No. I think something that happened with the other two.
You said no?
No. Not Bleach.
Come on, it was real
not
cash.
Bleach-esque.
Super cash.
Bleach, though, Bleach is on another level because it's cash, but also lame poetic.
Yeah, all right.
What if Deku really hates these guys? What if Deku just really doesn't like these guys, and these are the first people that he actually like openly hates?
Save Yo.
Yeah. And that's where
he's like, no wonder these motherfuckers won't shut the fuck up.
I mean, something must have happened.
Jesus.
Something must have happened between then and now inside of the One for All space to make him angry. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. I like this chapter a lot for a couple reasons. I mean, our issues notwithstanding, this setting is actually kind of cool. I do appreciate this kind of like messed up kind of city vibe. You know what it reminds me of? I thought of a good analogy earlier. It's just like escaping me now, but I mean, I guess like Arkham City. Yeah, Arkham City type vibes where all the villains are out and doing stuff. And I like that Muscular in general is like the first person that's fighting, because he's not so strong or that big a deal, but his familiarity is very cool. It's very much like a comic book where it's a lot like, you know, Batman fighting Solomon Grundy, you know, in the middle of the city. Yeah. It's very superhero-esque. This is kind of just a cool setting. I'm trying to look towards the future. You know, we already spoke about what we felt about the past. It's time to see what My Hero Academia has to offer now that we're here. And I don't hate it. I do appreciate the space. We have to wait and see before I can really think about or talk about how Deku's acting, because it is inconsistent, but I feel that's obviously on purpose. So I don't know.
I appreciate your positivity.
giving it a chance. We gotta let him finish. I don't know. We don't know enough. It's clear that some time has passed between his talk with the successors and now. So, you know, we gotta give it. How
do you feel about his costume?
I don't know. I mean, like, he's wearing Gran Torino's scarf. He's probably like the same exact costume that he wore during the Paramount War. Not Paramount War, the Paranormal Liberation War. Yeah, derp. So it's obviously
all right.
just
So on a scale of 1 to 10, you can give hats. I said on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate his costume?
I mean, I don't think this is a costume that's gonna stay. That's why I don't.
I'm not. That's not what I asked. This is like, how do you feel about this one right now? How it looks?
It's fine.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
It's fine. It's a 7. I don't know. He's going for, like, you know, this is probably the exact same costume he wore during the war. So
yeah, they're gonna switch it up for him. I know
for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah, he's not wearing this for that.
I like the Deku costume.
Yeah, I know.
I think every story gets to this point. There's a battle damaged character design.
But that's not even battle damage. Like, this is all right. So look,
the clothes are war.
What he's wearing is everything. A part of his costume is a reference to somebody. It's a homage to somebody who has mentored him. His hood is made by his mom. The scarf, it's Gran Torino's. Like, this is all it's a costume of respect, essentially.
Well, it's his regular costume, just dirty now.
The green on his
It's
body,
not a new costume.
swag.
It's not a new costume.
And when you put it all together, it equals rags to riches. Remember I said that, Brian, at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a new costume. How are you going to judge it?
Ass. No, it looks like dog shit, my nigga. I cannot wait till he takes. He just needs a hoodie or something, bro. I don't know, man. He needs to do something. He has to get rid of that hood. He needs to do one of these. Like, one of these with holes.
I mean, this is the first time he's worn the hood in a while. He never wears the hood.
I really like this costume. Yeah, this is the first. I was wondering how it would actually work with his design, but I really like it.
He's finally wearing that fucking titanium thing he has around his neck that he never wears. You know what I'm talking about? He always has that like little smile thing that's underneath his costume, but like underneath his chin.
But that's the thing. Deku actually looks threatening here as a hero, you know? Like this, if you see him, you would think he's a threatening figure as opposed to Deku without the hood on.
The same way I look at a homeless person and be like, man, I feel bad for homeless.
Oh my god, you're such a hater. You're such a bona fide hater.
Bro,
look, I'm not laying my life.
What time does he have to have a clean ass suit, bro? Where's he gonna find the time?
Around in the alley for an hour and then was like, alright, it's time to go fight crime.
I'm not about to lay my life on the line.
He looked like he fell on a skillet and someone tried to make a fucking omelet out of him or a chopped cheese.
Come on, bro.
And it was like, oh my bad, it's pizzeria. He's not.
Name a single time that Deku would have had time to find a clean ass suit made by the finest tailor in UA, bro. No time. No time.
And it would have been for $3.99 because all of the stores deserted.
No, he's good. He has what he needs.
Tea on, son. I don't want to hear it. Listen.
You're such a hater.
Well, I'm not about to put my life on the line to defend this costume. It's not worth fighting about this costume that he's not going to keep.
I really like this costume.
And it is his regular costume, just dirty. It's not a big deal. It's just a costume.
Yeah, just without prep time. I get it.
Sure. I mean, it's not a point of contentious. I feel.
He didn't take it to the dry cleaners before Muscular. I don't know. Maybe next chapter after he beats Muscular with his new ability that he unlocks.
Nah, man. The villains destroyed the dry cleaners. That's why they destroyed all the laundromats and dry cleaners.
See, Chris, that's why you're the unbiased king. Because
I am
you use your logic and reasoning to deduce a real answer.
I don't know, man. It's not that crazy to me. You know, it's just a costume that he's not going to keep forever. It's indicative of his arc at the moment, where he's at in his character. So, you know, I don't. It's not worth defending or attacking. It's just a phase.
And as Brian said, he likes it.
I'm indifferent.
I think
to
it's
him.
poggers.
I think
it's poggers.
I like this chapter quite a bit. I thought it was pretty cool. I like this Wild West type thing. I hope this continues. You know, it reminds me of Shibuya. You know, like I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia are in very similar places in their stories.
Kind of, at least with Shibuya anyway.
Yeah, you know, so this is basically
in the immediate areas around them. Yeah.
I would love this for this to be like
lawless land.
Yeah, I would love for this to be like a cool free for all, like different characters. This could be an opportunity. Different characters just run into different villains. There's so many of them now, so there's more opportunities.
Like Bloodhaven.
Yeah, like Bloodhaven. Hating ass. Just like this is My Hero Academia, Bloodhaven. But that's all I gotta say. I'm overall very positive about this chapter. I don't really got much else to say. I think My Hero Academia is off next week, which is a bummer because this chapter isn't helped by a week off.
He would do.
It comes out April 4th is the next chapter. It's the week after that, I think.
Are you sure? Okay.
Wait, what?
I didn't.
It says April 1st. Next chapter hits April 4th. That's in 3 days.
Yeah, I know. I think I read somewhere that it's off. Like it's a surprising week off. Like it's sudden.
Probably after this one.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll find out. We'll find out on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they announced this after the chapter was released, and that's not true anymore. Well, this isn't true anymore. That comes out April 4th. So maybe you're right.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens. Sometimes like authors just something comes up for them and they have to take a week off. It's a shame it's My Hero Academia because I feel like the skepticism would be helped by continuous chapters, so we can get as much development as possible. But in any case, that's all I got to say. It's time to randomize.
I hope he turns his sword into some guns.
Jujutsu Kaisen. This is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 144, That Place. What?
That place?
That place.
Oh, man, the trope.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time the characters don't say it. It's just the title itself.
They don't.
Okay, so we get a little bit of a recap. Noritoshi is planning to have a culling game, and Megumi has come to Itadori and asked him, "Please help me, please, bro." And I guess Itadori remembers that his grandfather said to him before he passed. He said, "You're a strong kid, so help people." And that's all he needs, that little bit of motivation. He turns over to Okotsu, and he actually says something finally, about Sukuna and his plans involving Megumi. He's basically like, "Yo, I know that Sukuna is trying to do something with Megumi. He took over my body in Shibuya because I ate 10 fingers all at once, and it was just a lot to handle at the time. So, even if he ate all 5, he doubts that Sukuna would be able to take control like that. But if he ever switches with Sukuna again, don't hesitate to kill him." And Okotsu's like, "Man, I'll try."
Understood. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
Ain't that nice?
Then he turns to Megumi. Is like, "Okay, so what should we do?" And Megumi has a plan. He's basically like, "All right, first we have to go to Master Tengen and figure out how to remove the seal on the prison realm, free Gojo." Which is cool because honestly, they do have 19 days to do this before they have to, before they have to pick a fight, I guess.
Yeah.
And they also have to
Noritoshi.
They have to find out what Noritoshi's concrete objectives and future motives are, and and they need answers before they can even fucking start this stupid culling game. And Tengen may be the only thing. And Itadori is like, maybe Sukuma knows, and they're like, I already spoke to her. This was her idea, because we all know that Yuki wanted to go in to see Tengen anyway, so they're all going together. And the problem with that plan is Tengen's ceiling barrier. There's 1,000 doors, like Monsters Inc., and he's behind one of the doors. And
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, his cursed technique is Mike Wazowski. So basically, it's just like, we gotta pick one of these doors. I mean, we don't know. We don't have time to go through all these fucking doors. And Itadori takes a minute, and he's like, "Fushiguro, I have to ask, what happened to Kugisaki Nobara?" And Megumi doesn't say anything, and I guess Itadori is like, "Well, I guess I'm assuming the worst." And he's like, "Oh, I get it. And I'm not giving her the Mario death yet."
Get it?
I'm not giving her the Mario death. Nobody said anything. We didn't see her fucking corpse. She's not dead in my eyes.
Yeah, no, she's dead.
So
that was more of a, I don't know, man. She's hurt.
It's not looking good
at the moment.
Yeah, it's not looking good. That's what that says. And in the middle of this somber moment, Choso just barges in. Funny moment. A little bit of a relief to the tension. And he basically says, "Hey, I actually have a way past Tengen's barrier." And he explains that Mahito once stole Sukuna's fingers and the Death Moon paintings, right? Well, we can do the same thing. And we cut over to this, I guess, secret lair in the Jujutsu High where Yuki and Maki made it. Yay!
Yay!
First degree burn? The lower the degree, the worse it is, right? So 1 being the worst and 3 being the least worst.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So
Brian, can you look that up? Which is the
degree
worst? Is it if it's less degree burns? Is a first degree? Just Google if a first.
She got hit with lava, bro. Not fire.
No, yeah, she got.
Yeah, I think the higher the worse.
So wait, third degree burns are
third
worse.
degree, maybe fourth. I don't know how she.
Fourth degree burns go through both layers of skin and underlying tissue.
Dude.
So yeah, I guess that could make a scar.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah, that's beyond.
Yeah, she's gonna have that for the rest of the series. That's
yeah, this is her design now. Which
pretty gangster.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's a lot like.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's kind of cool. I'm glad she's alive in the first place. Maki fucking rules. First of all.
Yeah. She's gonna beat somebody up with some nunchucks again.
Yeah, some cursed nunchaku.
Oh, cursed nunchaku.
Yeah. So everybody's excited to see Maki, and Yuki explains like, yeah, we even use reverse curse technique. There's nothing we could do about the scars. And we get a little bit of an explanation as to what Choso's plan is in order to get through Tengen's barrier, and basically between the doors and the tomb where Tengen lies, there's the warehouse where they keep all the cursed objects. And because a lot of Choso's younger brothers are in there, he can use his powers to sense
Noranzo, Shouso, Tanzo, Sanzo, Kotsuto, and Shozo.
Yeah. Good job, bud. There's 6 of them in there. Man, there's 6 of them there.
He's got mad bros.
he's the fucking oldest of 10. So, there's a lot of them.
And now Itadori is going to become Yuji Ita Choso.
Yes.
Yuzo? Yuzo?
Itadoso.
Yeah, Itadoso, maybe. You decide. Comment which one's your favorite, Yuso or Itadoso. Okay.
Bro, Maki's like, yo, who is this nigga?
And Itadori says, he says, for now, think of him as my big brother. And Choso goes full Endeavor when Todoroki says, he goes, Yuji! So, that's a sweet little moment. I appreciate it.
Hit him right in the heart, man.
Yeah. Adorbs. And they pretty much find the door pretty easily using Choso's powers. And Yuki's like, all right, well, I guess we're here. There's an elevator that goes to the tomb. They walk past the warehouse, and Choso stops. He looks at the warehouse because that's where his bros are. And Itadori is like, Choso. And Choso's like, I know. And he touches the door of the warehouse. He says, I'll return. Just wait a little longer. I can't wait to see if that ever happens. Oh, man, imagine Choso's brothers. So they take the elevator down, and there's bloodstains in this weird hallway thing. And Itadori's like, whoa, what happened here? And Yuki seems to know. She says that, oh, no, wait, did this happen in the flashback?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, with the Gojo flashback. I think that's what happened. Like, he slaughtered all of those people.
Yeah, it's been so long since I fucking read that arc.
Like, her spirit looks so ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, Megumi's dad is such a fucking asshole. He made trouble everywhere he went. Okay, so they go through this tunnel and they arrive at Purgatory. Essentially, it's just this blank white space. And Yuki's like, damn it. And it turns out that the space is rejecting them, essentially. And they're like, Tengen doesn't interfere with with this world, but I thought that contact was possible now that Gojo's basically sealed. And at that point, Megumi's like, shit. And Okotsu's like, hey, Sumiki doesn't have enough time. Let's head back because we got to start this culling game. And then they hear a voice saying, leaving so soon. They turn around, and it's this gross-looking monster thing with 4 eyes.
Yeah, we're just gonna say gross-looking.
Yeah, the 4-eyed thumb, just looking at him like, child of Zenin, Michizane's descendant, Deathweight painting womb, and Sukuna's vessel. So, that's where the chapter ends. We meet this weird man, and I don't know if he's Tengen or like Tengen's Alfred, but
he is the cursed nugget.
I'm the cursed.
The last is.
Wait, what?
He's that weird looking McNugget that makes you remember all the fast food documentaries you watched.
Oh yeah, he's like a left out too long chicken McNugget.
He's just like, ooh, I'm not eating that one.
Question, do you remember the situation with the death wombs and why they're significant?
I don't know that many details. I just know that that's Choso and his brothers, essentially.
They're just really strong curse spirits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, that's the end of the chapter. I thought this was cool. Just another transitionary chapter. I liked what was revealed about it. I'm glad that Maki's back. That alone is just fantastic. I'm here for it. But yeah, great chapter. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm glad Jujutsu Kaisen's not on break next week. Because I feel like we're gonna learn a fair amount next chapter. You know, but yeah, that's all I got to say about it. Any closing thoughts?
Happy it's not on break next week.
What?
I'm also very happy that it's not on break next week.
Hell yeah. And yeah, that's it. With that being said, let us close this show out. Thank you guys so much for listening as usual. You could find me at the Chris Aspinall, Brian at b.esp, Josh at jdcole_37. Follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Follow our theme song guy. I keep forgetting to shout him out at drum_foo. Very talented individual, as you can hear. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want to talk to us about. If you like one-shots, let us know if there are any things that you want us to talk about in one-shots. We'll keep doing them. If you are listening through iTunes, subscribe to us on YouTube, vice versa. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are likely on there. And that's it for us. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.